What's up, everyone? It's a Knife Style here, and today I'm going to be doing a Battle of the Blades episode comparing the Spyderco Sage 5 Lightweight to the Spyderco Native 5 Lightweight. And this comparison video has been one that I've been looking forward to a long time. If you don't know the story behind this St. Nick's exclusive Native 5, I actually lost it probably 3 or 4 months ago. I still haven't found that one, but my family knew that I was pretty bummed that I lost it, and so they got me a new one for Christmas that they got off the secondary. So I'm really happy to have one back, and I'm very happy to do this comparison, but also kind of dreading it because it's one of those things where it's going to be really hard to choose a winner between these two, and I've already done one take of this video, and I was just sitting here fumbling over my words for a couple minutes just trying to even decide, and I ended up never even choosing a winner. So anyway, I will try my best, and I will choose a winner by the end of this, hopefully. So let's get started. Let's first talk about the basic anatomy of these knives, just to break them down for you. So this Sage 5 Lightweight is made in the Taichung, Taiwan factory. It's got an S30V blade, kind of the leaf blade shape, with FRN scales, a two-way reversible tip-up wire pocket clip, and it runs on a compression lock. The Native 5 is made in the Golden, Colorado factory. This one at least is in 4V blade steel with FRN handle scales. It is a back lock with a four-way reversible pocket clip. And like I said, it was made in the USA, which I do like. But one thing to keep in mind while I do this video is that this Native 5, I'm not going to be comparing this specific one to the Sage 5. Just imagine that this one is like an S30V, because one, you can't get this anymore, or you actually can on the secondary. They're not that hard to find, but just imagine, because I'm not gonna like say that this one wins in the blade because it's 4V while this one's S30V. I think you guys know what I mean by that. But anyway, let's get into the start of the video. First, I'll just touch on looks very much. I don't really keep track of this category, but for the overall looks of this knife, I'm going to have to give it to the Native for a couple reasons. One, this is the coolest colorway out there, in my opinion. Black and red, probably my two favorite colors that go together. Red's probably my favorite color, and I feel like the black blade with the black hardware makes it look very good. Another thing that I like about the Native is it doesn't look like your average Spyderco, while the Sage 5 kind of does. I don't know, Spydercos just kind of have a weird look to them, and I really like Spydercos because they favor like function over how they look. But this one looks like a normal knife. It kind of looks like a knife that just has a Spyderco hole in it, and that's what makes it a Spyderco. I don't know if it's just that straight kind of arcing back to it or what, but yeah, it just looks like a normal knife, and I actually kind of like that coming out of Spyderco, because a lot of times they have these big thumb ramps with that thumb hole, and it just kind of makes them look weird. But anyway, also the price point, I forgot to mention that, the Native 5 price. So I couldn't find any Native 5 S30Vs in stock. I assume they're probably in stock at a lot of places. You know, Spyderco local dealers, they probably have just a standard Native 5 and S30V. But the Native 5 and S30V with a combo edge is $108. So I assume that the Native 5 and S30V basic one with the plain edge is probably $105 or maybe closer to $100. And then the Sage 5 Lightweight is $122.50. So a little bit of a price difference there, but I guess I'll have to get into that when I talk about the value. Let's talk about the blade of these knives next. So I'll get a quick thickness behind the edge measurement for you. I'm not going to be doing measurements all over the knife, just a couple. So this one, I'm getting 15.5, we'll call it 16 thousandths behind the edge. And then the Sage, this Sage has actually been sharpened a couple times, probably like 5 times. I just got, 15 thousandths behind the edge on this one as well. So both around that same thinness behind the edge. Very good slicers, both of these, or at least for Spydercos in my opinion. And so that's going to make my decision even more difficult when I talk about the blade. I guess let's compare these blade shapes really quick. So the blade shape on the Native, very good. I like both these blade shapes, by the way. One thing to keep in mind, it's almost like there's a tiny bit of flat at the base with a little bit of belly here, and that kind of goes to maybe a little bit of flat here and up to the tip. You know, kind of a complicated blade, but also very simple. I do really like this blade shape though. Let's look at the Sage 5 blade shape. This one is pretty much just flat all the way up to here and belly up to here, kind of just this basic leaf point blade, or leaf blade shape, not leaf point. And this one's just your simple spear point. So I really like both of these blades. I'm gonna go with the native though, because I really like this little bit of belly towards the base here. One thing that I do a lot is I do a lot of cardboard cutting, and one thing, the way I cut cardboard is I put it in this base and then I bring my hand through, kind of like I'm bringing it through to the tip. And that little bit of belly a lot of times will catch cardboard and just make it slice a little bit easier. And both of these blade shapes are good. Also, I really like that the native has a top swedge to it. Is this showing up? Yeah, there it is. I just think that looks a little bit better, while the spine on this one is just basic, you know, kind of like your average Spyderco. So the native 5, I guess, wins for the blade. The next one, the fit and finish and lock up. So compression lock versus back lock. I won't touch on that in this category. I'll talk about that, I guess, when I talk about action. But the fit and finish of these two, both of these knives have very good fit and finish. The centering on the native's kind of hard to see just because it's a black blade. So I'll shine a light on it. As you can see, this thing is perfectly centered. Sorry, I keep turning my light off. And then on the Sage 5 lightweight, I actually got a new flashlight. Surefire EDC L1T, I really like this thing. This one is perfectly centered. So both of these have very good fit and finish, and they're just really well done knives. Blade play on these, here's the Sage 5. No blade play like this. I can grip it down here, grip it up here, and wiggle that a little bit, but honestly, who needs their knife to be that horizontally stable, I guess. And then on the native 5, I can wiggle out just a hair of blade play. It's not to the point where it bothers me at all, but you know, perfectionists and that might bother them a little bit. I don't know. For the overall fit and finish though, I'm going to give it to the Sage. One, just for the fitment and finishing, I guess, of these inside FRN scales. This is a little, just a little bit sharp. It's not very uncomfortable. It doesn't give you a hot spot or anything when you go like this, but this one is nicely knocked down, and you can tell that there has been some work put into the chamfering of these FRN scales. So for the next category, the ergos on these two, and the ergonomics, I already know who's going to win this. It goes to the native. The native 5 ergos are some of the best that Spyderco does, and it's just very simple ergonomic lines. There is no big thumb ramp here, because a lot of times with knives like the PM2, Para 3, and the military isn't as bad, but it's just a knife I have out. You do get your thumb here and it feels a little bit cramped. It feels like you can't do anything with it. You know, it's fine when you go like this, but you know, I know a lot of people like to cut with this saber grip, so sometimes you feel like, oh, I kind of want to choke up just a little bit more. You can't really put it on top of this thumb ramp, and it's just a little bit weird, and almost feels like your thumb has no comfortable place to go. With the native 5, that whole spine of it is flat, and so you can put your thumb back here on the jimping. You can put your thumb all the way up to the tip, which I don't know why you do that, but also right here is good, right here is good. I really like just how versatile the ergonomics on the native 5 are. I sound like a know-it-all right now, but you can do a whole bunch of grips on this and it feels comfortable in a lot of them. I will say that when you are in the choked back grip, I never use this just because you're so far away from the blade. You pretty much have to be doing something very lightweight in order to actually get some, or because the truth is, when you hold it like this, you're getting like very little power behind this blade just because you're so far away from it. When you choke up, your hand almost feels like it is the blade. And so yeah, ergonomics on a native are very good. Let's talk about the Sage. These are also very good ergonomics, but they're just not as good. The issues with this is the compression lock is a hot spot. That's just a thing that happens with compression locks. Yeah, there it is. It's in this choke back grip a little bit more, but sometimes when I'm doing a lot of harder cutting with this choked up grip, I do feel that. Sometimes this jimping can give a hot spot when you're pushing down like this because it's pushing back up into your hand with the resistance of the material you're cutting. And this pocket clip, if I choke back here, you can feel those two little indents right there. So overall, the ergonomics on the Sage are just a little bit worse, but the native 5 ergos are very good. For the carry on these two, this one goes to the Sage 5. It's just wire clip, And yeah, I just like the wire clip more than the Spyderco clip. I feel like this basic standard Spyderco clip gets a bunch of hate. I feel like that this clip is actually very good in ergos because I never have this thing give me hot spots, and it's also pretty good in carry too. I mean, it's got good tension, good ramp, it slides in and out of the pocket nice. There's really no complaints with that, but the wire clip, it's a very nice pocket clip, one of my favorites out there, and I really do enjoy using it. I've carried both of these knives in lightweight shorts. They both work fine, and so yeah, I really like both of these, but I will have to give the carry to the Sage 5. I apologize if I sound a little repetitive this video, but the truth is these knives are so close and so very similar to each other that it seems like every category I'm like, well, the other one is good at this category, but the other knife is just a little bit better. So sorry if I sound repetitive, but this next one, this category of action, this is one where the Sage 5 100% wins. This is the best and most well-done compression lock I've ever held, and people who also have a Sage 5 lightweight have told, or I've seen that they are very tuned from the factory. I have not taken this thing apart. I have not touched a screw with this knife. It is completely smooth, completely drop shut, very nice. The Native 5, for a backlock, it's an excellent action. You know, sometimes Native 5s, it seems like you can't flick them out, or at least my older one. This one, I guess I can't flick out either. But yeah, all right. I guess I'm just not going to Spidey flick this one today. But the action on this is very good. It'll drop to your thumb. Very easy to operate one-handed. But overall, Sage 5, that compression lock action just blows it out of the water. I don't care about action that much, so this category doesn't really bother me that much. But you know, if this is one of your first Spydercos, I feel like the Sage 5 lightweight, you are getting probably the best compression lock that I've ever felt, and I've handled PM2s, Para 3s, all kinds of things. So for the next one, the value, and I actually looked it up. I could only find the Native 5, like I was saying before. Oh wait, no, I already talked about price points. So Native 5, it's probably around that $100 to $108 mark, and the Sage 5 lightweight is $122.50. Now, if you think about that, both of those are good prices in my opinion. I really like the price points on those, but the Native 5 wins in value because similar materials, both S30V with FRN, and the Native 5 is made in America, made in their Golden, Colorado factory, and so yeah, that definitely drives the price up just a little bit. Not that making it in Taichung is like making it in China, you know, but it's one of those things where I do like this one, that this one is made in America a little bit more, and so the Native 5, in my opinion, wins value. So let's tally up these categories. So the Native won the blade, the ergonomics, and the value, and then the Sage 5 won the fit and finish, the carry, and the action. So if you're asking me, this is a very challenging one, because these are both very similar knives, and I'm going to have to pick one for you guys. My suggestion, if you are going to get one, for a pure user, a knife that you're purely just going to use, not care about, go with the Native. I feel like the ergos are very good for that, and the carry doesn't really matter to you. You know, the action won't matter to you, but anybody else, I'm going to go Sage 5 lightweight. I really didn't think I would do that, but I do like the Sage 5 lightweight just a little bit more. It might just be one of those things in my head that I'm like, yeah, this knife is so underrated and never gets any love. Maybe I'll just make it win. I don't know what to say, but yeah, the Sage 5 lightweight, one of my favorite Spydercos. It keeps surprising me. For everyday carry, it's better than the Native in my opinion, but for a hard use work knife, the Native is better. So that's going to do it for the video. My final decision here, Sage 5 lightweight wins. Hooey, I'm glad that I finished this video just because I did not really want to do this, but I feel like it's one of my favorite Battle of the Blades, and honestly, probably the best Battle of the Blades that I've ever done. So that's going to do it for the video. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys in the next one.